Suk Doctors, Sword Masters, and the mystical Bene Gesserit Sisterhood. But it was the Navigators and their monopoly on space travel that set the conditions for the Imperium. But I am telling you of the universe you already know. Let me describe the one you do not.
How are we doing? Greetings to one and all, it's your old buddy Jay here, coming at you with another episode of Countermeasures J Play. I know what you're thinking.
Why is he so tiny in the corner?
Well, let's not get into that. PCs! They'll be the death of me. I've always been a Mac guy. I do design stuff. Mac's my life. But I have a PC and I do stuff on the PC occasionally, but I very rarely stream from it unless a really good game comes out, like I last did Cyberpunk. That was very good. And now I'm doing Dune Awakening because I can't possibly wait for the console release. So I've set it all up. I've been playing. I'm about 50 hours in. It's very, very good. And I thought I would just drop in and talk about it just for a little bit because I thought I might play through this game and then do a little review of it because I'd heard it was very good. Oh no, what's happening? Alright, let's start again. Greetings to one and all, it's your old buddy Jay here coming at you with another episode of Countermeasures J Play. I am going to hop into Dune Awakening, which is something that I've been playing recently. I couldn't wait for this to come out on console. I primarily play everything on the PlayStation, PS5, Pro, and there's a lot of good games on that system. And I very rarely move over to the PC, and I just couldn't wait. The game looked too good, Dune Awakening. It was ticking a lot of boxes for me. I like the franchise, I like the world. It had some RPG elements to it, so it was ticking a lot of things for me, and that there was a certain amount of base building, which personally I've never really been a massive fan of. But I thought, well, let's just get in. With all these games, you kind of get in, and within the first couple of hours, you know whether it's for you or not. FromSoft games, maybe not. You have to play like the first 10 hours, and then eventually it brainwashes you into believing that you're having a good time, and then you do have a good time. Different approach. This is very much wears its heart on its sleeve. It tells you know exactly what you're getting into, but I don't think I was prepared to like it just as much as I have been liking it. It has become all-consuming. I can't think about anything else. Jobs and families aside, this is occupying at least the other third of my brain. I'm thinking about base building. I'm thinking about where to get materials from. I'm thinking about whether I should move my base. I'm thinking about what my next main part of the mission's going to be. I'm thinking about I actually care about the side missions, which in itself is just an absolute miracle to me, because usually with these games I have very little interest in any of that. So I will tell you what this game is. This game is it's an MMO, massive multiplayer. It's a online. There's a lot of people playing it at the moment. I think concurrent players as of yesterday, it was 180,000 on Steam, which is amazing. I think it's absolutely amazing. It's been doing really, really well. You are a character that you get to generate yourself. There's a little bit of a backstory. Now, if you've ever read anything to do with Dune, or if you've seen the films, more than likely the Denis Villeneuve films, and possibly the 80s one, which was the David Lynch one, which I personally still like. You will know that there is a planet called Arrakis, that it has on it a spice which enables space travel. It's one of the, I think it's the only planet that has spice on it. Maybe it's certainly the one that has the most amount of spice on it. So because of that, the spice has to be mined. It's then given out to the rest of the galaxy, sold as a premium product so that people can do space travel. So it becomes the most important thing in the galaxy because it means it gives people access to other planets and other places. So it's the most valuable thing in the galaxy. In the film, you're watching the House Atreides come in to look after the spice, and the Harkonnens, who previously got kicked out, come back, kill everybody, and then spoilers. And then Paul Atreides, who is like the youngest sort of prince of the House Atreides, goes off on a mission in the desert, meets these guys that live in the desert called the Fremen, and then there's a big uprising. He comes back as the leader of the Fremen. He takes over, and eventually he becomes, I think at the end of it, there's implication, if they don't even say it directly, which I think they do, that he becomes the Emperor, so the extreme boss of the universe, which is completely mental, but it is what it is. And they condensed all that into like 2 films, which respect those 2 recent films are very, very good, and it didn't feel rushed at all. The books are like yay thick, so you know there's a lot more lore behind it, but what they have put into the story of those films, they did very well. And using that as a jumping off point, this game is essentially I'm going to say alternate universe, or I'm going to say a different timeline. I don't want to say multiverse out loud. I've said it once. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. But it is one of the universes where the Atreides don't come to the planet, or they are on the planet, but it's not. They don't take over in the way that they did before, because I think Paul Atreides, who becomes the leader supreme or whatever, he's never born, and it explains that at the start. So your mission is to come to this planet where the Harkonnens still are, and basically try and track down the Fremen. And there's a load of other things you're meant to be doing, but that's one of the main points. So I generated my character. Her name is Jenny Jazrat. Now, if you do know anything about Dune, you know that there are things in this world that are like Jedis from Star Wars, and they're called the Bene Gesserit. So I thought Jenny Jazrat was a funny one. To me anyway. And you come to this planet, you start off with nothing, and then there's like a 10-hour tutorial of how to use all the stuff. So how to build, how to create weapons, how to maintain your water. You can see down the left hand side here there's a water meter. It's very hot on Dune, it's very sandy, so if you're exposed to the sun for a long time, you start to lose, you start to dehydrate, and eventually you will dehydrate, and you can, with a certain skill, you can bring yourself back to life to a certain degree to sort of regenerate your health, but you can die. It's not a permadeath, I'm sure that's coming, but if it isn't already, I haven't seen an option for that. But you will then respawn at a local spawn point to whatever mission you're doing, or in your base, depending on what's happening. That's a kind of rough outline of what you're doing. You have to go through your quests. I'll show you. If you go into that banging you can hear, by the way, is my neighbours. They just constantly shoot each other, and it's the NPCs that are having a battle. So they're just so noisy. I have to complain all the time. So what we have here are a whole load of customizable and crafting, research, skill upgrades, skill trees that you can go through. Maybe I should go somewhere where they're not so noisy. So let's just take a little jump out here. Now, I'm not sure how well this is... I'm not sure how well... How far away can I get from these guys? Is that better? There's usually a dude around here. Hold on. Yeah, so I'm not sure how well the frame rate's holding up. Usually, I mean, it is taxing on the computer, that's for sure. Look, those guys are so noisy, I can still hear them. It is taxing on the on my PC, but only for about the first 20 minutes while all the textures are loading in. Then once all of that stuff is loaded in, the thing absolutely runs like a dream. Now, because I very rarely... I can still hear them. Because I very rarely... let's go all the way over here, look. Is that better? Yeah, we'll stand under this rock. Because I very rarely put my PC... or turn it on. When I do turn it on, I need to do all the updates. And what was very apparent is that my 1080 graphics card, while it was the baseline spec for playing this game, and it did do an excellent job, the frame rate wasn't great, and the settings were all set on low, etc, etc. So I made the big jump of getting a 3060, which isn't the top end by any means, but it's not the bottom end either, and it's had very good reviews. It's not a TI because I'm running an i7-7700, which probably means something to someone. It's just the base sort of 360, and yeah, it's amazing. I've got everything set on high at the moment, not on ultra. I can crank it up, and it will eventually all pop in, but just for speed and efficiency for this review especially, I wanted to not do that. So yeah, firstly, yeah, graphics are great. The depth of what you can do in this game is obscene. So let's just go through what we've got here. We've got a map. So the map shows you all of the places you can go, places you've been, live missions that may be contracts that I've selected. Then you've got your inventory. So you manage your usual inventory. You've got all your different bits here. Pick up crafting items. Pick up various different other tools like build things, like materials to fix your vehicles, money to pay for various things that whether you want to do like a fast travel somewhere or whatever, you can do that, but you have to pay. Then you obviously have all of your weapons, etc, and just the kind of stuff you need to just navigate the landscape. So that's all there, and then you've got your characters. So there's Jenny Jezerat, and then you have all of this stuff, which is all the different suits that you can wear, and she's currently wearing a still suit which generates water while you're moving around. But there are all different types of armor that's radiation proof, armor that's kind of better for going into battle with if you're going to sort of, you know, fight people head on. I've been finding that actually my still suit's been pretty good up to today, and I can take on most of the different missions without having any stress about it. This game is tipped towards forming a guild and a group of people together, so that you build your base together, so that you can go and source stuff together. I tend to not play like that. I tend to be more of a kind of solo player until it gets to a point where I absolutely cannot do any more. And I've been seeing a lot of reviews saying if you put the time in, you know, you can actually do everything. So I'm absolutely fine with that. So I'm looking forward to doing all that. And then you have different things like shields, and you can have this belt that means when you jump off a cliff, it will stop your fall from getting any fall damage. Then you have to manage your power pack. All of these things need managing. There is weapon degradation, so as you're using stuff, you see these little bars at the bottom, they will go down. You have different tools, so you've got your gathering tools, so when you're going out and collecting like iron and steel and bits of grass. Oh, I just heard someone. No. And then different weapons you can, at various stages as the game goes on, you get the option to collect materials and craft those. Then you have the actual crafting section. I mean, I won't go too deep into this, but it is obscenely detailed. This is just what I can craft while I'm on the move. When I go back to my base, there's a fabricator. Obviously, you need to put materials into, and then it will create things like another fabricator or a thing that can distill water. There is a thing in this where you can collect water from flowers, but only a certain amount before you're feeling sick, so you can only have a certain amount. So that's fine if you're out and about and you need a quick fix. If you are going into battle, as you're killing people, you can drain their blood, then bring your blood back to the base, and then you can extract the water from that. And that's essentially a major part of this game. And then as time goes on, you get a bigger base, you get more water options. You can do things like have like water generation. You can, you instead of sucking the blood out of one body, you can bring someone back who is still alive and basically put them in like a sarcophagus and then drain the water out of them over time. And it's very dark, but incredibly fun. I haven't got to that stage yet. Weapon crafting, obviously very good. Suit crafting, obviously very good. You have to pick up all the bits that you need, so there's all different types of suits. The vehicle crafting is something that I hadn't really thought about in this game. I thought that you'd be doing a lot of stuff on foot. I thought that at most you might get a bike. Well, actually, you can craft a buggy. So it makes it easier. Well, you can craft a bike, so I've got the bike. So yeah, you can craft a bike. That's my main mode of transport. And then after that, you can craft a buggy, and the buggy is much better for collecting resources. And I don't even think you need to get out of the buggy to collect resources, which is good. And then as time goes on, you'll get better versions of those things, like Buggy Mark 4. That's Mark 3. So it's a slightly better. It does something slightly different in a better way. But then you can actually build an ornithopter, which is the Dune Laws version of helicopter dragonfly, and then you can fly around and go wherever you want and do all this stuff. So I'm actually conscious of not doing too many side missions that are hard to get to or slightly out of reach by on foot or by bike, because when I do get to the ornithopter stage, I'll just go and tidy all those little bits up from being able to have a quicker and better access. There are skill trees. So at the moment, I've been building up the Bene Gesserit, who's the Jedi-like character. You get different powers where you can like convince people to walk towards you slowly so that they get confused, and then you can just shoot them. You get to move at speed. At the moment, I've got my abilities based around speed and climbing. So I have the Bene Gesserit dash. And then if I go through to the trooper section, you'll see that there's also an option here where you have a claw, which enables you to climb. And I've got that in my abilities as well, just because when you're climbing cliffs and going up stuff, and which you constantly are, and it has a cooldown process. And obviously, as your skills progress, that cooldown drops significantly, and you can use it more like repetitively. You definitely need that. I mean, I haven't unlocked the third ability yet. I'm getting to that stage, and I'll switch those abilities out depending on what I'm doing. But primarily, those are the ones that I've got on my sort of ability side of things. The circular ones are ones that just happen in the background. So those ones just, it's like health, it's like bullet damage, things like that. You don't need to equip those. Then your techniques are yeah, so like you can put all these ones in here. These are the ones that are available. Your techniques are things like hold on, I just went out of that. So things like, so I've got one where because I'm playing solo, no one can revive me. When I go into a battle, if I get really hurt badly, I want the option to be able to revive myself. Center mass, because being able to shoot accurately is essential in this game. And the stability at the moment, I've got poise damage, so if anyone kind of tries to stagger me during battle, then that helps with that. And there are a multitude. I mean, that's just what I like about it is you don't have to follow one path. You can pick and choose. So I am primarily a Bene Gesserit starting off, but I've been pulling things from the Trooper and the Planetologist as well, just because the Planetologist allows you to like get better with vehicles and kind of craft better stuff for exploring, etc., etc. Just trying to pick up those passive skills that help with all of that. And then there are other characters. There's a Mentat, which I haven't really looked at, and then there's the swordsman, which I like the idea of. I was either going to be a swordsman or a Bene Gesserit to start with. The main reason being is that they take the longest to unlock in the game. You have to find the people that teach you how to do this stuff, and they're the people that take the longest to get to. I can talk to a swordmaster. I haven't done that yet. I have found him, but I haven't quite got to that bit yet. But that's why I started off as a Bene Gesserit, because I wanted those skills, and then the Trooper came along quite early on in terms of being able to speak to them to open up their skill tree. So you can pick and choose, and I really like that. The journey, you are following this journey here. Find the Fremen. You've got various trials to do, which are like these little trippy moments, which is fun. Then you have a faction, so you can join the Atreides or the Harkonnens. Now, some friends of mine are playing as Harkonnens, which I really liked, but I always like to play the good guy. I just heard someone again. I always like to play on the good side of things. But if I get the option to betray, I will do that as well. So I've joined the Atreides. I'm going to run through all of their story and get all of their building materials and techniques and work my way through the ranks, which is where I am now. Look, climb the ranks, and then eventually, when the time comes, I'll probably betray them and become a Harkonnen, just because I think the Harkonnens they look slightly cooler, although they are slavers and suck the blood from people. But what are you going to do? And then you have all this other stuff going on where you can do different levels of how much side mission stuff you want to do is entirely up to you. I've been absolutely captivated by the side missions. I've done so much side stuff, as far as I'm concerned as a single player, that I'm almost ignoring the main mission. Now that is always an excellent sign for me. Whatever game I'm playing, if I want to go off and do the side stuff, and that's naturally taken me to that, and it isn't a chore to do something, to get something, to be to have a painful process to get to this point, I'm going to go and do it every time. I mean, I think Jedi Survivor, that had a similar thing where lots of the side missions were just really fun to do, and this is the same. There is the customization as well. Obviously you can I didn't realize I could actually customize more weapons. Okay. Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, of course. So, as I've just discovered, you can customize your weapons, but you can also customize all your outfits. So, if I was to go into this, you'll see my outfit is different to the one I've got equipped. The one I've got equipped is this one, but I don't really like the cape. So, I've got the version that I bought. I got the Dune 2021 still suit, so I much prefer that. And then you can change the colors of those. And I'm guessing as time goes on, those shaders and swatches they'll become more varied, and there is no shop in this game, which is good and bad. I'm going to say it's good because it means that you're not being nailed with microtransactions at every single step of the way. It's bad because actually I like customizing my character a lot. I like doing that. I like making sure that I look quite unique and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like, aside from what I'm crafting, and there's lots of different options, and the color swatches are fine, there isn't quite enough variety yet on that. I have a feeling that's coming. For the time being, I mean, there's not enough variety. There's about 100 different suits you can find and craft and all this kind of stuff. But I would like to be able to vary up my suits a little bit more. I could do with like 20 of these that were all like interchangeable, and you can be very specific with what you're changing, whether you want your gloves to change, your boots to change, if you don't like the style of the heavy jacket, you can have the appearance of another set of armor, which I think is very, very important, because I like to look how I like to look. I don't like to be stuck running around looking like an idiot while it's the best armor. Games that don't look beyond that think about the player's consideration of what they look like as they play. They're just saying, no, this is the suit you've got to wear that has these abilities. If you want that, if you want those stats, then I'm afraid you have to wear that. I think that's very short-sighted. I also think in this day and age, it's very backward. You should be able to edit. And I think games like Assassin's Creed, they kind of started introducing some of that, which I do really like. And just talking about Assassin's Creed for a moment, this game has a lot of climbing in it. You can climb everything. It's great, and it's not, it's a little bit janky. Like the gameplay is a little bit janky. The shooting is a bit janky. The fighting is a bit janky. But you know what? It has a Mass Effect 1 charm to it. And I say that in the nicest possible way, because Mass Effect 1 tried to do all these brilliant things, and it achieved all of them, but the side effect was that it had some jank in places. And it's not game breaking by any means. I've had, touch wood, I've had no crashes. a few texture pop-ins like at the start of games, but after that it runs smooth as. So I think they've done an absolutely banging job with it. The mission variety is interesting. You're in a big desert. That's pretty limiting in as much as how the look and feel of this game plays out. Okay, you'd expect everything to be rocks and sand, but actually they've done a very good job of varying that up. Like, you can go into ships and it's all kind of like broken metallic finishes everywhere. There's metal and crap everywhere because that ship has crashed and you're maybe looting it. There's, you know, bad guys waiting for you around every corner. They're hard in places, they're not in others, depending on how you approach it. Certainly from a single player perspective, I haven't come against... There's only in this area that I was branching out into yesterday, this kind of area up here, did things start to get a little bit tricky, in as much as there's like a kind of a third or fourth tier of soldier that have slightly different armor than I do at the moment. Essentially, you start down here, everything's very basic. You start in your pants, more or less, and then you do a whole load of missions around here. Let's have a look. Anything that's coloured you've been to, anything that's black and white you haven't been to yet. So there's not many things I haven't been to. There's quite a lot of things I still haven't done. It says area completion 55%. That's not bad for me. All the big stuff I've done. There are like some big bases where you can go in and purchase things. You know, there's one in there, there's one here. I think there's two more. I think there's 4 in total. Yeah, there's another one. I think the other one's here. Is that it? No, it's up here. It's the Atreides outpost. Yeah, Helios Gate. So I need to go back to there because I've just joined the Atreides faction. So now when I go back, the people that I couldn't speak to before will now allow me to trade with them and to travel with them. So it has its benefits, and people from Harkonnens won't be able to go there and do that. They could do a certain amount, but they wouldn't be able to actually trade or travel there. You know, travel from there by the travel system, which is limited. They want you to drive around and run around everywhere, and I'm doing a pretty good job of sticking to that. There's so much to do. I'd love to know in miles how many times I've been back and forth to areas, but the truth is that is down to where you build your base. I probably should have built my base around the middle here because it would be then easier to get to all of these different aspects, but I built it over here. A friend of mine's got theirs just there, so I built mine next to theirs. As time goes on, all this fog of war will clear. So either if you're driving around in these areas, uncharted areas, the fog of war clears. If you haven't driven those areas, it will stay there until you go to a certain point, climb all the way up to one of the high mountains, and then you fire out a probe and it clears a certain sector, enabling you to see what's going on. The one thing I haven't mentioned, I mean there's loads of things I haven't mentioned, but these are all the core things. The one thing I haven't mentioned are the worms. So every now and again you'll see dust scatter across the sand, you know, and is it sand? Is it dust? Is it a worm? In Dune they have these giant worms that live on the planet and they consume the spice. They are disrupted and woken up by noise, thumping. So if you're traveling across larger areas like this, if I am on my bike and I travel from here to here, the worm rumblings will start, and there's various stages. It's like rumbling, you're fine. Rumbling, okay, be concerned. Rumbling, it's getting a bit out of hand. Which way is it going to go? And then it goes into crazy rumbling, and then the worm pops up and tries to eat you. So, and I have been eaten twice. So there you go. That's how that works. Now, obviously, I'm scavenging now around these guys. Look, these are the bases here are other players on our server, or on my server, I should say. Oh, look, that guy was up there. Look, should we go and take him out? No, no, we can snipe him. There we go. Oh, they call me Wesley Snipes. Those are just random people that are on the planet, like. They're not Fremen, they're like scavengers, and they're different in different areas. You can loot what they're carrying. Then you see that little symbol comes up, it means you can use your blood extractor. And then you stab your blood extractor into his japsy, and there you go. There's usually 2. Yeah, he's looking away. That's what you get, brother. Right. We'll take all their gear. Now, they will respawn. So what that means is that basically you can come back here again in a little while. I don't think they respawn when you've done what you need to do and you're in the area for a bit. They very rarely respawn next to me in this game if I'm hanging out somewhere. But when I go away and do something after a certain amount of time, they will come back. So obviously you saw before I got my dash. And then there's the jump damage. So as you jump, I actually have to press this one. There is an auto one, the option to have it automatic. But that conserves the battery that you're then carrying. So it's all like management of these resources. Keeping your battery up to date. Keeping your... keeping the power cells in your generators up to date. And what that basically means is like you need to keep your generators running in order to use all the machinery in your building. Okay? Look, there's 2 guys up here now. Look. What are they doing? He looks like an NPC. Look, what's he doing? Doesn't think he's getting in my base, I hope. Now, or is he a guy? Okay. No, he was just hanging around. Are we going to drain his blood? Yeah, let's do that. Take all his stuff. Yeah, so you need to keep your generators going. This is my house. It needs work. But as far as houses go, it does everything I need it to. You can pretty much build anywhere. You can't build... Look, there's a worm. You can't build out in open sand, obviously because of the worm. Oh, is he coming out? Yeah, that kind of noise generally means they're really close, and then... Yeah, and then every now and again you'll see them breach. Hopefully not breach... Look, they're still shooting. Those guys! So yeah, so you have to keep your generators running. Doing that, let's see. So fuel management. So look, we've got 19 days of real-time fuel. We can put a deposit in. Right, let's put that up to 20 days, and then we've got some spares left. We've got 954 of those left, so that'll keep going. But in 20 days, I'll have to come back and update that. That runs everything. There's another one upstairs because the more things you get, the larger the area of, you know, the more power you need. So you actually need more than one generator. This has been running while I've been off. So I'm hoping, yeah, it's getting pretty full. So that's generating me lots of water. This one, see, look, my water's gone down the left, so I'm going to drink. Do that, and do that, and that. Yeah. Then we go in and use. Now, it's asking me, it's generated this amount of water from the blood that was here, but we've run out of blood. Here's some blood that I collected earlier. So I can deposit the blood, but obviously only a maximum amount. Now it will start processing that. And I still have blood left. Now what I need to do is probably build another 4 or 5 blood purifiers so they're all going at once. And then eventually it will collect in this tank. So that's that. The smaller blue line that runs down the larger one on the right, on my left, but the right hand side, than the tiny small one, that is the water that's collected in my still suit. So I can just push left on my D-pad, and that will refill. The sub thief is a thing that you need to create. This essentially distributes the energy around your base. Obviously you can build chests and collect stuff. I've been playing this game for 50 hours, so I've collected a lot of junk, as you can see. This is where we come in to do some oil refining. Ore refining. You collect materials and it allows you to build these 3 things, and then you know, you create those things which are like little iron ingots which you can then use to build. So you go into the fabricator. So if you need anything specific like a torch, or if you need, like here, you can build better things like better suits. You can have the head wrap. There's a static compactor, and you know, all of those things. I won't go into a great deal of details of the finer points of those material, those tools, because the tools do so many different things, like collecting sand, turning big fields of dew into water with water collectors. There's all sorts of stuff going on, you know, and that is one of the things that I think that's a ship crashing. I still haven't seen one yet. Oh yeah, it crashed over there, I think. Yeah, the ship went down. So it's one thing I thought might put me off is that there's a certain amount of management. Like usually with these games, when you're like, go off for a month and collect all this junk and then basically turn it into a pair of Wellingtons. Like that, I have zero interest in that. What is good about this game is that when you get wiped out, if you lose your stuff, early on in the game that's going to happen a couple of times. To get back to a point where you can have a bike, have a decent suit, have a weapon you can shoot people and go and collect with, and all that kind of stuff. You know, it doesn't take very long once you've done it once before. You know the process of doing it. So because you can do that so quickly, I suddenly thought, actually, if I do get reset at any point, I'm not going to lose everything that I've got. It's just going to come down to the fact that I'll just have to rebuild some of these things, which you can do in a relatively short space of time, which is essential for me, because I don't really want to spend ages and ages just building 2 bricks. You know, very early on, you collect a small amount of materials, and you're able to build a base like this, which I think, you know, more. I mean, if I didn't add on to this at all, I could still finish the game. It depends how you want to you know, how you want to build it. This is like a little desert mouse. You get the option to build different things. So look, I've got like a chair that I sit on. There's a mat. There's a picture of the Emperor, the overall Lord that Paul Atreides eventually becomes, but not in this universe. And there's my desk where I do all my work. And then there's this little guy here who he's a critter from the sand, but he lives in here with me and I keep him alive. So there's a whole load of things that you can do. And let's just see if, let's see, do I have that on? Yeah, so the construction tool, so look, you can go through all of this stuff. You know, there's another recycler, there's a, you know, and then, I mean, those are the favorites. You've got all this other stuff as well. Look, all of these, like, down lighting systems. So if we wanted to, we could put some light up here. Maybe we'll do that. Should we put something up? Connect to a structure. I think it needs me to remove the roof. Anyway, you get the idea. Is that like building is relatively simple. It's pretty easy. It's got almost like a Fortnite feel to it, where you're just constructing this stuff, but not under so much pressure. So good things are obviously all of that stuff. All of the kind of RPG elements of like actual speaking characters. I mean, your character doesn't speak, so your responses are blank. But the NPCs that you're talking to that are giving you quests, they're all voice acted. They're fully voice acted, and they're done really well. So I respect that. I like the slow pace of the whole thing. I mean, I was watching this thing the other day, and a guy had spent about 300 hours playing it and had pretty much done everything. You know, the whole world allows you to build all of this stuff. There are other people building around you, but they can't come and change and trash your base unless you run out of power, and then you've left everything unlocked, in which case they can come and take everything. So the idea, you can't kill each other in this particular area. There is a PvP area which I haven't got to yet. I also think there's like an end game part to that, where when you're a badass and you're strong enough and you've got all the right weapons, you'll be able to go into those areas and actually benefit from that end game, which is just awesome. You know, I just think that they've really thought it through. They've obviously spent time and thought, right, let's give them a really. It's one of the most successful game launches I can ever remember of this magnitude. Usually something's broken, something doesn't work. Usually in the first couple of days there's something. There's been absolutely nothing. I mean, a few people talking about crashes and texture pop in. There's all the jank that I mentioned, but jank is jank. You know, it's pretty damn good. I think if I had to pick one thing that I think needs work, it is the combat. Not the shooting. The shooting is actually quite satisfying, depending on what weapons you've got. You know, so there's a lot of different ones. So you've got like, you know, I've got like a sort of Magnum, a sniper rifle, and then just your standard sort of dart firing rifle. Then you've got your swords, and also you can generate a shield. So when you're fighting people, the shield enables you to stop getting hit by bullets, and you have to use knives. So that's quite good. there's a whole load of stuff like that. But yeah, I actually think the worst thing in it is the combat. Not the shooting, but the blade combat specifically. I think the issue is, and I don't know if this is just something I haven't worked out yet, but I can't seem to find a solution to it, which is there's no lock-on when you're fighting anyone. If there was a lock-on, I think it would get much easier, because then you'll be able to judge distances, and but at the moment, like, someone's coming to hit you with a sword, you sort of step out of the way, and at various points you're both facing the wrong direction. You're not looking at each other, you know. Even if there wasn't like a lock-on that was automatic, one where it was an optional lock-on so that you could at least snap back to the person you're fighting, I think would be a benefit. And there's a load of other things as well, like once I created Jenny Jazzrat, I think at some point I'll probably shave her head, but at the moment I haven't got the option to do that. But I hear that is coming as well. You know, she could do with the beard probably, but we'll work on all of that when the option to change your character comes up. Look, there's a worm there, look. Usually when you see one, it means another player on your map has just been got. So let's see. But yeah, in general, absolutely loving it. I mean, just for the sheer scope, it's 10 out of 10. It really is. I just feel like it's probably my game of the year at the moment. You know, I do think that. Should we just go and massacre those guys? Let's go and do that. So let's do that. So we're going to put our helmet on. That's optional. You don't have to. I like to take it off when I'm at home. Let's go and see if we can one-shot all these guys. Whoops. I'm constantly pressing the wrong buttons. Too many games. Right, let's go and shut the neighbours up. I don't understand who they're fighting either. Because when you get up there, they're just like... Actually, let's do this, look. They always be fighting. I guess it's scavengers fighting against other soldiers. Not always. Okay, she's seen me. Yeah, there is someone there. See, now I'm here, they've stopped fighting. Oh yeah, so the other thing is there is a sandstorm. The sandstorm will come occasionally depending on which sector you're in. It's completely random as far as I can see. And yeah, when it comes in, you take suit damage, so you have to make sure that you're yeah, come on then. Let's go then. Like I said, they're not that difficult until they gang up on you. They also tend to know where you are normally. The AI is pretty good at, like, look at this guy. He's dumb.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
So we can pinch some of their... we can take their energy there, so it turns off their base. Ah, I'm wasting bullets, but whatever. Oh, she's going to fight me. So I'm going to show you what I mean about the sword play. Whoop! Okay, she didn't last that long. Right, it sounds like there's a guy above me. So the music has stopped. You know, and there are large moments of this game where you're just exploring, which I do also like, where you're just wandering around looking at different stuff. You're just finding...
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
Yeah, so there's a sandstorm coming in. We're going to have to go inside, otherwise it might not be best for us. Let's see. Yeah, so you can look around and you can kind of do stuff and wander around, and you're not always... Yeah, Chappie's not here anymore. Yeah, so look, there's the sandstorm hitting. But because I'm in, look, it says enclosed at the top there, it means that I'm in cover, so I'm fine. It doesn't have to be your own base every time. You just have to make sure that you're out of the sand. Right, and then we're going to drink. We're going to nick some of their water. And now there's a little gap here. I can top that up with my still suit, so I'm going to do that. There we go. So that drops down and gives me a little bit of extra. You know. And then, of course, there's all the looting. And you can come back to the same place and just keep going over and over. Eventually, you're going to run out of... yeah. Going to run out of stuff to pick up. Let's see. So the cutter. So we can do this. Now. So yeah. So what did we get there? We got a fuel cell. Well, that's good because our bike was running out of fuel. So if we now go back to... Right, the sandstorm seems to have passed. So we're going to jump. But no fall damage. Let's see. Here we are, back home again. You'll notice that, like, one of the highlights of this is that I put a donkey on the roof. You know. That's the way we go. Okay, let's see. Quick. We want to go more. We want to fuel. Yeah, there we go. So now when we're on the bike, see my fuel's up. It says low fuel, but that's just because it's still picking up from last time. I've got enough now. Obviously you can see that the tyres are all orange, so that means that they need repairing, and you can repair it, but you can only repair it to a certain point before they break. So let's see, let's go and do something else. We haven't been over to this camp yet. In fact, what are we doing? So on our journey at the moment, the one mission that we need to do is we need to okay, who's this guy? Right, we could do with killing this guy here. He's a part of a series of side quests that I've been working on. You check in at the big bases for your contract. Look, there's an ornithopter. And when you check in at those bases, basically they then give you... Now that guy's landing, that looks really cool. It then gives you, the contracts then give you extra credits to spend or special perks. Right, now we're going to cross the sand. You're going to see in a minute. In fact, now. There it is. That tells you about the worm sign. Where he's coming, whether he's near to you. He will just eat me and my bike. So you've got to travel swiftly. And they can pop up anywhere. You normally get enough time to avoid them, you know. But if you're traveling, if your bike's not repaired or going at the right speed, it's going to shoot at me. If it's not going at the right speed, or it can't quite make the journey in enough speed, you're taking a long time, you're on the sand for a long time, he's definitely going to get you. That's basically how that works. So then we're going to cross here. So again, we're taking another risk, because on this one, in fact, this is very risky, because I'm going up a hill, which means I'm not going top speed. Come on, come on. See, I'm on the sand for a little bit too long now. Ooh, don't get me. But then when you get close to the rocks, you'll see... Oh, no, it's still going. Yeah, it drops to 0. It drops to... right, so then what we need to do is we need to make this crossing. What we should do is make this one first, really. It's a risk, eh? But that's what this game does really well. There is... At no point do I feel OP. Even when I've got, like, amazing weapons and really good armor and all that stuff. At no point do I think that I can't be taken out at any minute, and I think that's a very good thing about this game, is that it does feel like you are vulnerable, right? Whoops, let's get off the sand. It does feel like you are vulnerable. It doesn't feel like... Hang on, now, did I just call him over? Yeah, look, there he is, look. I think he was going after that ornithopter, actually. Oh, he's a big one. If I'd have crossed there, he might have got me. Right, so we want to go there. Right, so he's gone off over there. Right, let's go. You know, is he coming back? What you don't want is for it to start on orange. It needs to start, well, on the deeper orange. It needs to start on the kind of slightly creamier colour. No! Yeah, okay, we're fine, fine. And then once we hit the rocks, you're fine. You've only got to worry about the scavengers then. Right, so we're going to go here. We're going to finish this one. So this is a contract. Dropping Drot. So this is an assassination mission. I've been slowly collecting intel for this one contract. And I think this is the final part of it. Now, like I said, you can just keep going and doing all of the little side missions and hardly touch the main campaign until, you know, you're ready to do it further down the line. I do think that is... You need to do them both in tandem, and the reason being is that you might find yourself going to places that you've already explored because you're just curious of what's over there, and then suddenly they're like, oh, go up this old mountain that's got like a parchment or a vase or something you need to collect. Well, you might have already been up that mountain, but because you didn't pick up the quest before you went up the first time, you need to go back up and do it again. So there is a little bit of repetition there, and that's the same for all games like this, I think. You just have to be aware. So if we leave our bike out in the sand, it's fine now, but it will get hit by hit by sandstorms and take damage. Now, no one can nick my bike. No one. Right, let's see what we've got. Let's move some of this stuff over. So we're going to move that. We don't need the gold ingots and all that kind of stuff. That we certainly don't need to take a kebab into battle. Fuel, sand. There's another fuel thing there. Oh gosh, I've got quite a lot of stuff on me. That's all fine. Right, I can reorg that. That's fine. I've got space to pick stuff up. Okay. So, now what we're going to do is we're going to go in here. Now, the map, you can't... As far as I can see, I haven't worked it out yet. You can't rotate it 360. You have to view everything from this point, which is fine, but some of the missions are on the other side of like this block here. So it does mean that you can't quite see past it. But it's not essential, so that's fine. Let's now do. And also, there is no gauge of whether it's up or whether it's down. I think he's probably up. So let's have a little look up here. Do a water again. So yeah, I'm good. Yeah, he must be in this base here. Look. Right, let's see if we can do everyone with a pistol. That's the most satisfying. Yep. Death is coming. I wouldn't mind, but they do attack me all the time. So, like, as far as I'm concerned, it's all fair game.
Who's that? Who's that?
Ah! Okay, that's a disruptor. That'll set... Okay, right, she's down. Let's just heal up. Right, so this guy you can't shoot, or you'll have a hard time shooting. Right, I have to wait for my stamina to come up a little bit. Oh, he broke my poise. Yeah, it's not going to really work while that guy's hammering away. Oh! Okay, so let's just get out of that. Right, so we just need to... Oh, he's still following me. Get out of it. They haven't broken my shield yet, so that's fine. Just got to get out of the way of the guy firing so we can actually have some sort of combat. Okay, there's 2. That's fine.
Shields up.
Yeah, stamina. Come on. Oh, there he is. There's another one. So there is like an auto sort of lock on, look. You can see, but if you do anything out of sorts, like run past them, you aren't facing them anymore. That guy's so fast. Ah, there's another load of dudes there now. Okay, so this is the downside to doing it by yourself. No! Ah, okay, right, so I can self-revive before they trash my shield. Okay, so what we're going to do... Are they still coming? They are relentless, these little wankers. Right, they don't want you to... Yeah. Come on, then. Right, he's done.
They're coming.
Yeah, he's done too now. Okay, so that's both of those guys. Let's drain their blood. I'm going to enjoy drinking their blood. Whoop! That's why they call me Hawkeye. Yeah, okay. Right, let's see. Thanks for the blood, mate. Okay, that was slightly more chaotic than I was expecting, but, you know, whatever. I guess there are... That's what I like about it, is that it can be unpredictable like that. Like this guy. Yeah, I see you. Come on, come on. Ah, yeah, okay. So he had poison darts. So those darts will give him chip damage while I'm pissing around, basically. Right, let's see. Let's do that. Okay. A bunch of blood. Oh, so I don't have any space in my container. You see, it says no compatible container. So if I go into my inventory, all the little red dots underneath the blood bag, that means that there's no room at the inn for any more blood. Look out! Okay, you want to play with me, do you? Ah, that's the guy I'm meant to be assassinating. Okay. Ah, okay, so I shot him. See, look, completed. Kill Kira gang leader. Now, I shot him with a poison dart as well. Yeah, I've forgotten I can't do that at the moment. Which means that, basically... he was taking damage while I was messing about. Right, let's see what he's carrying. Okay, he's alright. He's got some gear on him. We can't take your blood. Sorry about that, dude. Now, complete the contracts for your sponsor. So once you've completed your contract... let's see. Yeah, let's take all your gear as well. It's quite good to shoot them and then get your ammo back. Once you complete your contract, you then have to go back to one of the main sort of hubs on the map. There is another hub I should talk about, which is there's a place where you can travel from the main hubs on this map to the hub of your house. So you can go to the Harkonnens' sort of home world, if you like, and get certain items. Oh, sorry, I just killed your mate. You know, you can go and you can actually pick up things that are specific to you. And before you've joined a house, they won't trade with you. Now I've joined Atreides, the Harkonnens won't trade with me, but I can go to the Atreides homeworld and trade there. And then I'm assuming at some point when I am able to switch sides, which I think is you do get a betrayal option. I read somewhere it's only once, but sure. I guess the idea being is that you could go along for a certain house. When you've maxed out what you want to do with them, you can then switch over to the other side.
I see.
Oh, execution style. Okay. Yeah, so the combat's good, but like I said, it's the weakest point because the sword and knife combat isn't great. I mean, it's fairly satisfying. I'm going to sound like a hypocrite now. It's fairly satisfying, but it's not. It could be better, I think, is the main thing. But let's see now. On some of these bases, there is intel. Now, is there intel on this base? I don't think. Yeah, 1 of 1. I've already picked the intel up for this one. So I probably came to this base before and collected the intel for it. You know, and there's a bit of environmental storytelling. Not as much as I'd like, actually. I could do with a little bit more. But I think with a game of this size and what they've done with it today, I think they're doing an absolutely bang-up job. But like with the Division, like you'd go through so many different buildings and so many different streets, you'd see a lot more kind of posters on the wall, and maybe you go through one house and it would be like maybe someone was having a birthday party at some point and got interrupted with the with you know what was happening at the Division and that kind of stuff. There's less of that here. I could do with a little bit more of that, but it's not really a deal breaker. Just because the gameplay loop is so much fun. So what have we done so far? We've collected some materials so that we can do some more building. We've done an assassination. We'll go and collect this contract. Now, this base here is one of two. Looks like this for one of two reasons. One, it has no energy anymore, and it's been abandoned by the person that built it. And slowly, the storm will knock down walls. Oh, okay. So look, so someone's left in. So see, that's good. So one of the things that I needed to do was actually get a static compactor. Now I don't need to build that. Let's see. No, see, I've maxed out what I can take. They've just opened up all their chests. Can't take that either. Let's see. What did I just pick up that I don't need? I don't think I need that, but I am going to take that. That's quite good, that jump pack. So let's see. So look, my jump pack energy is dropping. So if I now swap that out for the one that I just picked up, there we go. I could do with another energy cell, but it's fine for now. So whoever built this base has either stopped playing the game or has moved on. And you can lock your chests if you want to, which most people do. But what I don't understand is that if someone just abandons the game, do they automatically just open up? And then it becomes part of my gameplay, which is that I scavenged this part of the planet, and actually I benefited from that. So I could come here and take, you know, if we switch to this, I believe we can demolish this stuff. See, we could come here and nick all of these resources if we wanted to. In fact, why don't we? And it might be that someone's in the process of moving their base. We're going to do some serious building, but I mean, you know, it doesn't take long to farm these materials out in the world. But actually, if you don't have to go and find rocks, why would you? I guess we can keep going on the granite for a bit. So yeah, so it suddenly becomes a bit like Minecraft, you know. But of all this stuff that's done here, I can now take these materials and add them to my base. And what I don't understand is... Let's keep going, let's keep going. I don't know if I'm picking up any more. Yeah, I don't know if I am actually picking up any more. I think I've maxed out, maybe. Anyway, you get the idea. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that and that. Yeah, right, we'll get back on our bike. Okay, I did that while I was getting on a bike, it got confused. Right, so what I want to do now is go up here. Now we're going to make this crossing. Oh, what? What? So that ship crashed, right? Now, I'm not going to risk it and go out there, but if you've got an ornithopter, you can now fly next to it, get into the ship, get loads of cool stuff, and then get out before the worm arrives. But you don't have very long. I haven't done that yet, but it's not going to be long before I build those vehicles. That's my next kind of quest, I think, personally. See, as the game progresses, people move their bases. So it could be that base that we were just taking some of the materials from, like I said, it's either been abandoned or they're in the process of moving and I've just helped them by stealing a load of their stuff. But it's a survival game, right? I think it's been abandoned because loads of the other assets were taken, like the fief that generates the power distribution wasn't there, etc, etc. This is a dodgy cross, this one. Yeah, so I've got to go from here to here. What do we think? I think that's terrifying. But before we do that, what we are going to do is, let's do this, inventory. Okay, so the inventory, and then we're going to get our welding torch. Let's, hang on a sec, let's just check our inventory again. Have I got steel on me? Yes. Okay, so now I can get my welding torch out. I can click down and change to repair. Also, I am playing on a PC. It's very good. I haven't denied myself the controller here, so it runs very well with the PS5 controller. Cannot be repaired further. Come on. My welding torch is about to break. Even the welding torch needs fixing. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of welding lately. Okay, so now if I put that away and I get back on, see my bike was in the red and now it's kind of looking slightly better. Now then, let's just check my map again. Okay, we're going to go straight across. This is risky because it's probably one of the furthest parts that I travel. Right, so I'll start getting the thing come up. Not today, Wormy. Right, so this is now one of the key hubs. This is Anvil Base. Did I say that right? Let me just check. So it's the Anvil? Yeah, it's the Anvil. So this is the trade post. Now I've collected a lot of materials which I don't really want to... Nah, I'm probably going to need to get back to my base. Nice parking! There's a lot of bikes in here. Now I think if you park your vehicle in here, it does mean that it is protected from the sand storms. So let's put this here, but not in anyone's way. There we go. Okay. So we're going to hop off. Okay. Now you can talk to all these people, so look, she'll say something and...
I presume you have some business with me.
No. What we're going to do, this guy you can obviously go into and then you can either sell
Still alive.
items.
Not too bad.
I'm here to
Get
trade.
that going.
Yeah, this is all greyed out because basically I don't have enough room to carry it all. You know, my backpack is full. Now let's see. I wonder what that means when I hand this in. So I'm handing in a contract. So if you can kill Drott, not only will it have my personal revenge, but his death will sure to cause a power struggle. So we're going to do that. We're going to contact the issuer. You did it! Dropped him like a rabid jackal. With luck, they'll soon be turning on one another. At the very least, the man responsible for the deaths of my friend is dead. That means I'll rest easier. Thanks, friend. Right, confirm. I completed the payback contract. Then it tells me what I get. I wonder if I get anything. Yeah, that's weird. I didn't get anything there. Maybe it just gave me money. I think it just gave me money. Also, if you get swallowed by a worm, you lose everything on you. So all your money, everything you're carrying.
We meet again.
You can go back and... you can go back and... try and pick up your stuff. There's like a little death skull. I don't know how much of it is left after you've been eaten by a worm. I haven't actually done that yet. But also, if you've been eaten by a worm in the middle of the desert, the chances are, if you go back to try and get your stuff, it will just happen again. So yeah. So that's more or less it. Anyway, that's the game loop. I can sit here for a bit. Should we sit here with the gang? No, I can stay here. There I am, looking moody. I can stay here. I don't have to get back to my base to be sheltered, and when I kick the game off again, it'll restart. It's the same for anything. It has a you know, another FromSoft element, which is wherever you save, you know, wherever you exit the game is more or less where you come back into. So if you're doing a mission all the way up here and you haven't got an ornithopter and you're lost in the woods and in the desert and you're, you know, but you want to continue pushing forward, you don't have to go back and find safety. You can just stick yourself under a rock and come back in a week and you'll still be there. So yeah, that's it. That's all I've got to say. So until next time, be good, stay safe, and be kind to one another. Peace out, we gone! Ow!